Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Rochelle Carey. For months now, tens of millions of Indians have been scrambling to exchange their old banknotes. That's after the government of Narendra Modi suddenly banned the 1,000 and 500 rupee notes back in November. Modi says the decision will help tackle corruption and stop what's called black money, or cash gained through illicit means. In a New Year's message, Prime Minister Modi defended his decision and offered incentives, but the opposition says the entire campaign has been a failure. Let's bring in our guests now in New Delhi. In Hyderabad, Sreeram Chaulia, Dean of the Jindal School of International Affairs. Sreeram, your thoughts on what Narendra Modi had to say?
I think Narendra Modi is a great political communicator, and his speech 50 days after the demonetization drive began emphasizes how he's trying to establish a direct connection with the masses and with the people in a populist vein, and explaining the benefits of this move with an array of statistics. He talked about how our tax revenues have improved by 13%. He spoke about how digitization is increasing, how the society is moving from a pre-modern into a modern vein of conducting transactions. He tried to also mobilize the society once again behind him by saying that this is actually a war, an internal war, a purification ritual, he said in Hindi, to try and arouse the masses behind him, to stand with him. And he, of course, also promised an array of welfare schemes by which he's saying that this is a redistributive measure. The wealth that is being captured and has come back into the banks as a result of the scrapping of the 500 and 1,000 rupee notes is, he's saying, going to now create a dividend for the poor, for farmers, and for the downtrodden. So this is a massive experiment in social re-engineering and economic re-engineering that he's trying. And I think he still has the numbers behind him. People are not just bearing with him, but actually largely supporting what he's doing. We haven't seen a single major protest movement in a country that is used to protest, despite the inconvenience that's been caused. So it clearly shows that he has the pulse of the people, and he's playing on these pent-up frustrations and trying to channel the energies of people against what he calls the evildoers, who are the corrupt and those who are giving.
Okay, Sreeram, let me ask you this. Do you believe in this, in demonetization as a policy? Is the problem the policy? Is the policy been the execution?
I don't think there's a problem in the policy or in the basic idea. I think there are vast hordes of illegal cash that have accumulated in what we call the parallel economy, or some people call it the black economy. And this, to try and bring all that cash, to suck it out like a vacuum cleaner, I think that's what Modi is doing. And he's trying to actually bring it into the mainstream, into daylight. And I think that will eventually, generate a lot of benefits to the economy as well as to the society. There's a change in the mindset. What he's asking people is, think about national interests, think about social interests, think about larger public good, not just
isn't
about
that
your self-centered
that's a lofty
attitude transformation is effective.
Can you hear me, Sreeram? That's a lofty goal, to try to think of society as a whole, but if you're barely making it as it is, and then all of a sudden the money you had is worthless, what are you supposed to do?
Well, no, I mean, the supply of the new replacement notes, the situation has been easing day by day, and it's going to get better in the new year, and he has promised it, and we have no reasons to disbelieve that. So I don't think, it's causing the same kind of pain that's being described by my colleagues on the show. Rather, if you go down to the street, I mean, consumption has fallen a bit, and it has people have taken a hit, but then they are thinking about how we need to sacrifice in order to create a new India. This is a transformative process. This cannot be achieved by simply sitting back and saying, we are corrupt, we are immoral, nothing will ever change, and people will flout the norms all the time. I think he's trying to create a kind of a moral revolution in the society, and we have to look at it from that point of view.
Sreeram, is Narendra Modi facing a lot of political pressure? It would seem that he is. I realize that you received the speech well. There's a lot of people that did not receive the speech or the policies well. He's trying to solidify his party, but how much political pressure is he facing?
I think he's still unrivaled as the national leader of India. There is no competition in terms of any opposition. He still enjoys See Voter, for example, a well-respected public opinion poll conducted a survey after the demonetization, and people approved of the job, people approved of the policy by 80%. And, give or take a few error ratio points, this is pretty representative. So I think he believes that he is now in a position where he can directly talk to the masses, as I said, and through his executive will can shake up the nation, can create some kind of a vision for an alternative way of living. And he said, I want to make honesty as something that pays in this country, because traditionally we've had a situation where dishonesty has, and there's been not a single corruption scam in the central government which has been running for the last 2.5 years. So he has credibility. When he's talking about it, people are not cynical. I know a lot of the so-called intelligentsia are cynical and the experts have been frothing, but the point is the average people of this country are behind him, and they have not really raised much of a protest, because all they see is at the end of the day the rascals should be punished. So it's a populist move, I will admit it, but at the end of the day that counts. I mean, with Donald Trump it counts, with Narendra Modi it counts. I mean, people vote for these people, rally behind this. So I think he's not in a disadvantage. Rather, I think I'm looking
Okay,
at
all
him
right,
as continuing to do well at the national level. There may be some setbacks in states.
Okay,
here
Sreeram,
and
just a
there,
moment,
but
just a
I don't
moment.
see him
I want to give
Ratik,
Ratik, and that will have to be the last word on our very lively discussion. And thank you to all of you for joining me for this discussion.